Okay, good morning. How's everybody doing?
Great.
That's better than I thought that it was gonna be, honestly.
Yeah, the snow.
Yeah, that's crazy. Um, okay, I'll get right to it. Okay, this is Lower Lake Lager. It is a Vienna lager. Okay, so just to put that in kind of context, lagers, right? They're more clean fermenting, like very approachable beers. Oftentimes they result in like what I call beer flavored beer, right? Think of your River Lights, your River Trail Pilsners. We've got a Pilsner on from Racket River right now, their Italian Pilsner. That's also a lager. To get into the technical side of it, it's the type of yeast, right? We've got the division between ale and lager. It's the type of yeast that takes longer to ferment and ferments at colder temperatures. So that's a lager. Now, Vienna lager. Vienna lager is a style that came out of Vienna, Austria. It's been popular there for a long time. I'll look up the dates and send them or something like that. Some of the history I'm not. It's not the beer that I'm the most solid on, but they've been doing this style for a long time there. It is a darker in color lager, right? So if you compare this to the River Trail Pills or that River Light, it's definitely darker. That's coming from the malt, right? So like if we think about just a review, like how we get different color in beer, malt that's been toasted for a longer amount of time develops different flavors and gets darker. And that's what we're seeing here in this beer. So, this beer, as opposed to some of our other lagers that we have, is a little more malt forward. That's kind of like a key term that you can use behind the bar or at tables. If you get that question of like, what's the difference between this one and that one, it's malt forward. So that's like a good thing to remember. Um, yeah, so that's Vienna Lager. This particular version of it is a little bit of a change. If whoever was here when we first opened, pretty much all of you actually, this was a different recipe. We've since changed it, and we're going to give this one a shot, see how people like it. And yeah, so basically, like, let's taste it together. Let's get some aroma, notes, and taste, and just like let me know what you think.
It's darker than the first one, correct?
This is on the darker side, yeah. This is a little bit closer in color to a traditional Vienna lager.
I feel like it's a bit like sweeter. Yeah, definitely got some malt.
A little bit sweeter, yeah. And that's right, exactly. So that's going to be the malt forwardness of it. So there's a little bit of residual sweetness there.
It doesn't like last as long as what I normally feel like darker beer. I don't know.
What? And I'm just going to repeat things for the video too. So you said that it doesn't last as long.
Yeah.
What? Like, dig into that a little bit. Like, what part doesn't last as long?
The aftertaste, it's a bit like drier, if that's the description word for that. Then I feel like some other dark beers of this color taste.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so it doesn't last. The aftertaste doesn't last as long as some other dark beers. So yeah, that's a good example. So that's a difference when we're looking at like roasty stuff for sure versus like caramelized kind of malts, but then are used in a lager. So some of the astringency, I think that's what you're referring to, and like some of the other darker ones, like we don't have as much of that here. What I'm picking up a little bit is there is definitely some bitterness on the back end, and those are of course due to the hops. But they're not coming at all from the malt. The hoppiness of this is definitely a little bit turned up from what a traditional Vienna lager might be. That's kind of for the American palate, and it's like, my feeling is that people who are going to order this beer, we're going to want it to have a little more balance on that back end. But yeah, I mean, ask people, bring the feedback back to me. What else can we say about this beer? It's called Lower Lake Lager. That's that's a reference to Lower Saranac Lake. So I feel like that's going to hit pretty well. We've got the alliteration going. That's always nice. We have cans of it. We've had cans of it for a while in the cooler. I've actually been sitting on this beer for a little bit of time, and just to let it like condition. Also, we had to kick some of the previous lagers in order to put this on. But yeah, this is a recipe that I'm looking to develop. So again, that feedback is really, really valuable to me. We'll see a lot of it through just beer sales, you know, like even if I'm not getting direct feedback from customers or from you guys, like I'm getting constant feedback through lifting kegs every day to put them on. So, you know, I have a pretty good idea of what's going on, plus our can sales there. But, oh, that's another thing that I did want to address. The poll, and not to put you guys and not anybody else from front of house on the spot, but in the last week, how many of you guys have asked customers before they go, even before dropping off the check, do you want any beer to go?
Yeah.
Yes?
I totally like that.
That's,
as
yeah.
far as like specifically retail beer, yeah.
I just
Right.
sarcastically bring it up. I'm like, yo, if you want some beer to go, you know. And they're like,
So-
oh, really?
So this is something that I not every brewery is able to do, is to like have that beer to go. Like not every brewery's got crowlers ready to go of the beer that we have. We happen to have every beer on tap. You can take it to go, and it can be instant, and you don't have to wait for a bartender to fill a crowler and whatever, and the machine doesn't work, and you know all this stuff that we might run into at a different brewery. This is like a huge thing to me. This is a huge thing that we have that we're underutilizing. Also, like that beer gets added on to the check. So, you know, if you time that correctly, that'll be, to be blunt, that'll be added on to the tip in most cases. So it's like, I think it's within everyone's interest to add this upsell into, and I don't know if I'm using the right terminology because I'm a back of house guy. I'm not really a front of house guy, but I would encourage you guys, if you feel comfortable with it, to do it. I think we're gonna find that it's to everybody's benefit. So yeah, that, and it can be as simple as like, you know, you want any dessert? Would you like beers to go? You know, yeah, anything that you like tasted, like we have it to go. So yeah. That's my recommendation for the week. Okay, any questions either on the beer or on anything that I mentioned? Okay, we've got trivia tomorrow, so you can hit folks that are maybe in town and will still be around tomorrow, although we know that that's, you know, shoulder season and people sticking around till Monday isn't really a thing, but on the off chance that they are, plug trivia. Locals for sure plug trivia. It's really for locals. It's not for, you know, I'm not targeting like the tourism demographic with that. But yeah, that's hosted by me, and it's here, and it's in the River Room, and that's it. That's all I'm going to say about all of that. Have a great shift.
You too.
Thanks.
All right.